Hello, everyone out there in YouTube world, social media world, the website that formerly known as Facebook that shall not be named world. Welcome to another edition of Musings with MGL. I am your host, as always, MGL. Today, I'm going to do a quick little article about some news that's been breaking over the last couple days regarding a Second Amendment issue that everybody in the Second Amendment community probably knows about, and even people not in the Second Amendment community know about. And that is the pardoning of the McCloskey's. I hope I'm pronouncing their name right. So just a quick little recap. If you recall, back in last June, in the middle of all the Black Lives Matter riots and the Antifa riots or protests, peaceful protests, whatever you want to label them, last summer, there was this incident where this couple, a man and a woman, the McCloskey's, were seen brandishing their firearms and waving their AR-15 and a handgun around at a group of protesters / rioters, trespassers, again, whatever you want to call them, who had made their way onto their property. It became huge national news. The video went everywhere. There were memes everywhere. And they eventually ended up getting arrested and charged with firearm charges. And now they've been pardoned. So that's a brief recap. I'm going to read an article here that kind of brings everything more in perspective, and I'll tell you what my thoughts on the matter are. So this comes to us courtesy of the Washington Post. It's, democracy dies in darkness at the Washington Post. But it is, I'm going to start with just reading the fact part of it because the commentary at the bottom is irrelevant. And boy, you should see the left-wing media about this. They are going bonkers. Batshit crazy about what happened here. But here we go. So, a St. Louis couple who gained national notoriety for brandishing guns at peaceful protesters. See? That's not even the commentary section, right? That's just a line at the top, but no bias in the reporting there. A St. Louis couple who gained national notoriety for brandishing guns at peaceful protesters last year and pleaded guilty to firearm charges have been pardoned by Missouri Governor Mike Parson. Sticking to a promise he made before the pair pleaded guilty, the Republican governor announced Tuesday that Mark and Patricia McCloskey were among 12 people granted pardons on Friday. In June, Mark McCloskey pleaded guilty to misdemeanor fourth-degree assault and was fined $750, and Patricia McCloskey pleaded guilty to misdemeanor harassment and was fined $2,000. Both agreed to give up the guns they had brandished in the confrontation. On June 28, 2020, video and photographs showed rifle-wielding Mark McCloskey and pistol-toting. Again, listen to this. This is supposed to be just a news article, right? This isn't the opinion piece. I didn't go to the opinion piece. This is the article that's supposed to just lay out the facts, but listen to it. It's hilarious. On June 28, 2020, video and photographs showed rifle-wielding Mark McCloskey and pistol-toting Patricia McCloskey in front of their mansion as protesters marched through their gated community to the home of Mayor Linda Creshawn amid nationwide protests after a police officer killed George Floyd in Minneapolis. The images garnered national attention, prompting President Donald Trump to speak out in defense of the couple. Trump and other Republicans considered the McCloskey's law-abiding homeowners defending their property. Others saw the couple as overly aggressive towards demonstrators. The couple, both personal injury attorneys in their 60s, faced felony firearm charges after the display in front of their marble-faced palazzo home, but ultimately pleaded guilty to lesser charges. Representatives for the governor did not immediately respond to requests for comment from the Washington Post. The McCloskeys said in a statement that they appreciated Parsons' support and his steadfast commitment to the Second Amendment. So there you go. So this couple's been pardoned. We all kind of knew it was coming. I'm glad he stuck to it. The governor said at the time he was going to do it, but sometimes people just say that and then they don't follow through with it. So I'm glad that they followed through with it. I'm going to lose the glasses because I don't need to read. I'm glad they followed through with it. And here's my take on the issue. You could have differing opinions looking at this case. There are going to be people who are going to say that they were perfectly right to protect themselves and their property by using their firearms. There are other people who are going to say, no, these were just peaceful protesters and those were crazy nuts. And then there are a lot of people, like myself included, who would probably fall in the middle and say, look, it's a gray area. I can certainly see both sides of that. If the protesters really weren't trying to come on their property and threaten them, then you shouldn't come out of your house waving your guns around like that. However, I can also see that if you're inside your house with your wife, and according to them, they called security and nobody was going to come, so you have all these people outside your house. You've been seeing the news. You've been watching what's been going on. So sometimes, a reasonable person in that situation might say, look, we don't have any other choice but to do this. The problem here is because it is such a gray area, this never should have gone anywhere. You had the group of protesters who were giving statements saying, we weren't doing anything, they just came out and started waving their firearms around. You have these two people saying, no, they were being aggressive, they said they were going to kill us, they said they were going to come onto our property, we called for help and nobody would come, so we didn't have any other choice. So you've got almost like a he said, she said, there's a lot more people there, but you got two conflicting stories. You have photographs and videos which can show both sides of it, and there's no clear-cut evidence here that there was a crime. It could go either way. And when it comes to prosecuting people for criminal charges where you're going to take their rights away and put them in prison, you can't have it could go either way case. You can't have a 50-50 shot. It's beyond a reasonable doubt, which means it's way up here. You can't have a he said, she said go to trial or prosecute a case like that, in my opinion, because you don't have enough evidence there. I was a former prosecutor. I was a prosecutor for 6 years, and now I'm a criminal defense attorney. And the general rule is always, if you can't figure out what the hell happened, then you don't file criminal charges and try and ruin somebody's life over it. It was clear from the beginning that this was a political prosecution. The prosecutor in this case was a left-wing prosecutor from St. Louis. They made it clear that they were going to make an example out of these people. But even they realized when it came right down to it that they couldn't prove their charges, because why else would you go from serious felony charges down to a misdemeanor assault with a $750 fine? There's only one reason you do that, and that's because you know you can't win the case. And so this was pled out down to a really small thing, which indicates to me that this case was crap and never should have been brought in the first place. It was clearly a political prosecution. And I'm in favor of the pardon only because it was a political prosecution. I'm not necessarily saying I'm in favor of it because you should just pardon people with firearm charges because you think you're innocent. You can differ here as to whether you think the people were actually innocent or whether they were not innocent, whether they acted reasonably or not acted reasonably. I did a previous video on my take on whether it was a reasonable case or not a reasonable case. But what this video was about is me basically saying this pardon was correcting something that was a miscarriage of justice. Not what happened on that day. The miscarriage of justice was a prosecutor, for political reasons, deciding to go after somebody to prove a political point. And that is never the way prosecution should go. I don't care if it's against Democrats, if it's against Republicans, rioters, not rioters, black, white, male, female, whatever it is. A prosecution should never be for political reasons. It should be based on the facts of the case and whether you can prove it in front of a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And it was clear from the very beginning that we're never going to be able to do that. It's clear from the plea offer that they gave these people that they couldn't do that. And I'm just glad that the governor stepped up to correct what I believe was a political prosecution and a legal wrong for these people. So kudos on them. They've already gone out and bought new firearms. They posted pictures everywhere of them buying new firearms. So they've got new firearms now and they have clear records. So good for them. I hope they move on with their life. But I hope this is a lesson to other prosecutors out there that you shouldn't wield the awesome power of the state for political reasons. So thanks for watching as always. Hey, look, please smash the like button. Comment if you'd like. Please subscribe if you can. I'm approaching 1,000 subscribers. Yay! Once I hit 1,000 subscribers under YouTube's policy, I can apply to see if I can get any ad revenue and maybe make some the big buku bucks off of YouTube for my videos. So if you can please share this, subscribe, tell all your friends to subscribe. I'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers and grow the channel, spread some more information. That would be great. So once again, thanks for watching. I'm going to end it here. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay vigilant, and as always, carry on.